Language is more than just words. It is a bridge that connects hearts, cultures, and dreams. For me, learning English was not simply an academic goal, it was a life-changing journey. This is the story of how I started from simple alphabets, overcame fears, made mistakes, and finally found confidence in speaking and writing fluently in English. I was born in a small village where English was not spoken at all. We had a peaceful life, surrounded by nature and strong community bonds, but the world beyond our village always seemed distant. English was something we only saw in textbooks or heard on TV. My first real memory of English was in school when I was 6. Our English teacher, Mrs. Rani, walked in with a kind smile and a bright blue sari. She wrote the alphabet on the blackboard, A, B, C, D. I stared at the letters. They looked foreign and magical. That day, I copied the letters again and again in my notebook, whispering them softly, trying to make sense of the sounds. At home, no one spoke English, and I had no one to practice with. But something inside me was curious. I didn't know then, but that small spark of curiosity would one day light the path to a new world. As I moved to higher classes, English became more than just alphabets. There were now words, sentences, and grammar rules. I remember struggling with articles, tenses, and especially prepositions. In, on, at, why did they change so often? It was frustrating. I'd write sentences like, he go to school at Monday, and get big red crosses from my teacher. But instead of giving up, I began paying close attention in class. I borrowed English grammar books from the school library and practiced late into the night. I started keeping a diary, writing one sentence a day in English. At first, it was as simple as I eat rice. Then it became, I ate rice today. Slowly, my confidence grew. The biggest challenge was speaking. I knew the words in my mind, but when I tried to speak, everything jumbled. I felt embarrassed. Some of my classmates laughed when I pronounced words wrong. I would blush and stay silent for days. But inside, I promised myself, I will not stop. One day, I will speak English fluently. Everything began to change in Class 9, when a new English teacher, Mr. Thomas, joined our school. He was different. He encouraged us to speak, even if we made mistakes. Language is like learning to ride a bicycle, he said. You fall, you get up, and you keep riding. He introduced us to storytelling. Every week, we had to tell a short story in English in front of the class. I was terrified at first, but I prepared hard. My first story was about a lost puppy. I stumbled, forgot words, and my hands trembled, but I finished. Mr. Thomas clapped and said, "That was brave." That praise gave me a new energy. I started watching English cartoons and reading English storybooks from the school library. I watched Tom and Jerry, Dora the Explorer, and later, Harry Potter. I read slowly, sometimes looking up every second word in the dictionary. But I was improving. When I was 15, a new student named Aisha joined our school. She had lived in the city and spoke English fluently. At first, I felt shy talking to her, afraid she'd laugh at my English. But she didn't. She smiled warmly and said, "You speak good English. Want to practice together?" That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Every day, during lunch breaks, we'd talk only in English. She corrected my pronunciation gently. She introduced me to English songs, Taylor Swift, Adele, Ed Sheeran, and we'd sing together, laughing over the lyrics. I started dreaming in English. I imagined myself giving speeches, traveling the world, reading novels without a dictionary. Aisha encouraged me to join the English club in our school. I started writing poems and essays, and even won second place in a district-level English essay competition. That was one of the proudest moments of my life. After finishing school, I moved to the city for college. I thought my English was good, but city life was a different game. People spoke fast. They used slang. I felt lost again. I remember ordering food in a restaurant and not understanding a single word the waiter said. I smiled nervously and just said, "Same as her," pointing to a stranger at the next table. But college also gave me exposure. I joined an English drama club. I started following English YouTubers, TED Talks, and online English tutors. I practiced speaking with friends, recording myself to check pronunciation. I also learned to laugh at my mistakes. Once, I meant to say I'm on cloud 9, but said I'm on cloud wine. My friend burst out laughing, and so did I. I was learning to enjoy the journey. The internet became my personal classroom. I joined online forums, commented on YouTube videos, and even started a blog where I shared my thoughts in English. At first, only 2 people read it, me and my best friend. But over time, others started commenting, correcting my grammar politely, encouraging me. One day, I received a message from a reader in Kenya who said, "Your writing is simple and honest. I like it." That message made me cry. A girl from a small village in India was now connecting with someone across the globe, all because of English. The biggest challenge remained public speaking. I could write and chat online, but standing in front of people still terrified me. Then came the opportunity. My college was hosting an English debate competition. My heart said no, but my dream said yes. I wrote my speech 10 times, practiced it 100 times. On the day of the competition, my hands were cold, but I stood on the stage and spoke. My voice trembled, but I didn't stop. I spoke about the power of education, about my journey with English. When I finished, there was a pause, and then loud applause. I didn't win the first prize, but I won something bigger. My fear was gone. Today, I am not just an English learner, I am also a guide to others. I volunteer at a local NGO, teaching English to children who come from underprivileged backgrounds, just like I once did. I tell them, you don't need expensive coaching. You need courage, consistency, and curiosity. I give them the same diary habit I started, the same cartoon shows, the same grammar books. I share my story, and their eyes light up with hope. Sometimes, I see a little girl in the front row, writing A, B, C in her notebook, and I see myself in her. I smile and think, this is just the beginning for her. She'll go far. Learning English changed my life. It gave me access to knowledge, opportunities, and people. It helped me get a good job, meet wonderful friends, and express myself freely. But more than anything, it gave me belief that I can learn anything if I put my heart into it. English is not just a language. It's a key. And once you have the key, you can open any door. From a small village classroom to international conversations, my journey with English has been full of ups and downs. There were moments of frustration, laughter, tears, and joy. But every step brought me closer to fluency. If you're learning English today, remember, don't be afraid of mistakes. Make them. Learn from them. Speak, read, listen, write. Do it every day. One day, you'll look back and say, just like I do now. This is how I learnt English.